Mr. Jallow in particular, why did Coalition 2016 disappoint us?
I'm happy that you asked this question, because I've always said, I've said it in so many, in Paradise, in Fatu Network, that nobody should blame Adama Barrow. I'll stand anywhere and say it. If you are blaming, blame the party leaders, particularly the party of the UDP. I want it on record, because I was part and parcel of those who formed the coalition. Because from 2001, from 1999 to 2000, I resigned my job from the UN and I was coming back home. And I passed through Saudada's home in London. And I told him, sir, I've resigned my job, I'm going back to Gambia. For the first time, Saudada was angry with me. He said, Oje, why should you be so stubborn that you sometimes you don't think when you do things? I said, sir, I have thinking. He said, what are you going back to Gambia for? I said, sir, if we don't go there and leave this man there, he will destroy our country. And for me, the people of Sere could have voted me in when things were nice. Now when things is difficult and I am not with them, I'm a traitor. He said, but when you go and see Sirif Diba and Asan Musa, Kamara and Usainu Dabo, and tell them, if they don't come together as one, they can never remove this terrible man there. And I came. I didn't tell them. I'll go to them and ring Sadauda and let them talk to Sadauda. We tried in 1996 to have a coalition, we failed. We tried in 2001, we failed. We tried in 2006, we failed. Then in 2011, we were able to have the coalition of 7 parties and 3 independents. They always talk about 1 independent, but there were 3 independents. The President, Vice President, I said Toure, and Buba Aysane, who was an independent MP of Birkama, and Mohamed Magassi, who's an independent MP of Basel. Then we have the coalition, and we said we are going to a convention. Those who want to contest, let them bring their candidates. So we brought, UDP brought Adama Barrow, NCP brought Dr. Bojang, NRP brought Ahmad Ba, and PDOIS brought Halifa Sallah. We went to the convention, and they said each party should bring 70 delegates. So we went. Unfortunately, Adama Barrow won. Because my party, the PPP, voted for Adama Barrow. Because we were in coalition at that time we were supporting UDP because our party was banned up to 2021. From 1994, the PPP, the NCP, and the GPP were banned. And there was a law that if I stand on a platform and speak, I'll be arrested. That's why I've been going to prison so many times, because nobody will stop me from speaking. So when Adama Barrow won as the candidate, we went with him and said, you're going to stay for 3 years? He said, yes. We went and registered him, although we know that the Constitution, which is the supreme law of the land, said 5 years. After the elections, we had a meeting. And we said, now, we are going to the parliamentary election also. That's the PPP proposal, us and the DOI proposal as a coalition. UDP said they are not going to do it. They said they are not going to the coalition. They will be contesting as a party, because if they go to the coalition, their party will be destroyed. That's when I held a rally. Some of you might have known it, seen it in the social media. I held a rally at Latrikuda, at the Big Three, and I said, this thing what happened in the coalition, and I said everything what I'm saying here. And I said, but for me, if they had told me that for the interest of Gambia's development and peace and stability of this country, let me disband my party, I'll do it. Because PPP exists because of Gambia. Gambia is more important than PPP, than OJ, than Jawara. Jawara is gone. And Gambia is still here. Jesifa is gone. Penya is gone. Jahumpa is gone. All of them. Jawara is gone. Sirif Diba is gone. Sirif Ise is gone. We are all going. But we leave Gambia here. Then UDP said they were not going to contest in the coalition. That's when everything started to fragment. And that's what started all these things. And I'm sure some of you who listen to this social media, first month before last, the leader of the UDP was taped on the social media saying that immediately after this first month, all those people in the cabinet who are on UDP are going to be removed and we'll have a totally UDP government. And exactly 2 weeks after first month, Famata Tambajang, myself, D.A. Jallow, Fat Cicelo, and Gomez were dismissed and we were replaced by UDP. So, and then he was the one who went public and said, anybody who talked about 3 years, he's going to take you to court because you are going against the constitution of this country. So that said it. Now, when did they start supporting 3 years now? He's going to take us to court for us who are saying 3 years. Because he said the constitution is the supreme law of this land. Correct? Now let us follow the supreme law of the land. For me, what I'm interested in is stability of this country. Because if we want to fight now, I say it everywhere. This gentleman here, Bakari, they invited me to a group of young people in Brikama. I went to address them. And I told them, let nobody go in the streets. 2 years is nothing. We are able to get Yaya Jammeh out of here peacefully and not one drop of blood. Why should we fight in his absence? Then it would have been better for us to leave him here if we are going to kill each other. I said, if you people go to the street, you will not see Oje Jallow or my family there. You will not see Usainu Dabo or his family. You will not see Ahmad Ba or his family. You will not see Amadou Sane or his family. I tell them, all of them, you are going to die, you are going to suffer. Our families are sitting in their homes enjoying. Why should you do it? Let us make sure we talk about peace. Anything that will bring instability in this country, all young people should run away from it. We don't need that here in Gambia. That is why the coalition has been fragmented thanks to UDP. But now, as he said, we are going to have 17 parties. We are 14 now. 3 have taken their documents. So it will going to be an interesting document. Fortunately, I've retired. If you call me to talk to you people, I can. But I've retired from leadership of the PPP. I've handed over. And now it's left to these young people. Because I thought we should give the young people the chance to lead. And we should be advisors. If Jawara can be prime minister at 39 and president at 43, and he was the oldest in the cabinet except 2 people. Ebinjai and Jahumpa were only the oldest in the cabinet. All the others were younger than Jawara when he was 39. Then what was their age? If Jawara can make me deputy foreign minister at 29 and a full minister at 33, why do I think that one of you sitting here, he is more qualified than me? Why do I think that this man cannot do what I was doing 40 years ago, 30 years ago? Then that's selfishness. When they came to have a delegation to me, not to step down from the party, I say, okay, you are a Muslim, yes. Tell me one prophet that God made a prophet when that prophet was over 40 years. There is none. If God has confidence in young people, why not us? That's our problem. We should not glorify leaders. That is why the coalition fragmented. This is the situation.
Mr. Jallow, to ask your question there, government politicians, many would argue, lack being principled or holding to their words. And there is this argument that today this particular politician said 3 years, the next day 5 years, and it has been your position when you were on Kerfatu. Yes. You said that you were going to step down.
Yes. As minister.
As minister. Okay. When the 3 years ends.
Finish, yes.
And now, because of UDP has shifted its position, you have equally shifted.
No. I have said I will not continue to be a minister. But that doesn't mean I'll not be a politician. Fortunately, when the 5 years came, I was no longer the leader of the party. If I was the leader of the PPP, then I would have undermined my integrity. Now my new party, the leadership and the executive, said they are with the 5 years. That's their problem. I'm no longer the leader of the party. But what I'm saying is, fortunately for me, I was dismissed before the 3 years ended. So I'm now a free man.
I think I have a very different view from my uncle. I think the coalition fragmented even before it started. I cannot understand the logic in terms of the way they voted at that primary. If indeed the leaders of those parties who are involved saw Gambia, I cannot see how they could have chosen Adama Barrow over Halifa Sallah. Even if you wake up somebody who's never been to school in the village from sleep, you put Adama Barrow, he speaks for 5 minutes at that convention. You put Halifa Sallah, you would know that Halifa Sallah was more qualified to put the Gambia on a path towards democracy. He was more qualified to put the Gambia through a transition. Today, there would not have been issue of 3 years and 5 years. Why did we vote for someone who was never tested over somebody who has proven consistency over the past 25 years? So they failed us. Those who voted failed us. They did not vote based on national interest. They voted based on other interests. Because if we are really voting for based on who is more convincing, who has the pedigree, who has the capacity to put the Gambia into, see Gambia through a successful transition, it was hands down Halifa Sallah. But they never voted for him. What pained me more was that Halifa took 70 delegates, I guess. Not even 70 voted for Halifa. Yeah. And that was painful.
No, I think that he's right. No, he's right. He's right. But for me, I asked my delegation to vote for Adama Barrow because for me, I thought Adama Barrow was better than Yahya Jammeh. Because, no, this is only, and I can put my hand on the Quran. If we had not voted for the candidate of the UDP, they will not be part of the coalition and Yahya Jammeh will continue to be here. That's why I did it. Only that is. But because also we had an agreement. And in that agreement, we had committees. Unfortunately, you have talked about Halifa. Halifa was the spokesperson of the, and I was the one who chose Halifa in New York. We went to the university where Martin Luther King went. And we were talking about the, I said, well, if we are going to have a coalition, I'm proposing Halifa Sallah to be the Secretary General. He came and he be the Secretary and the spokesperson of the coalition. But when they were choosing those committees, it was Sidia Jatta who said that for the governance committee, which you know that all decisions, appointments to be taken by the president, that committee who should consult for advice. But the president was convinced after he became president that he's an executive president. He doesn't need to take advice from anybody. That's the problem. So that is why I thought if we have agreed to go to the coalition for parliament and all these things, then we could have controlled the president. But you can see that it's on record that the president went on tour while I was Minister of Agriculture for the election of the parliamentary and campaigned for them. But I was here, he didn't take me on tour. And he gave each and every member of parliament, candidate of UDP, $150,000 and not one penny to our 16 PVP candidates. This shows the type of coalition that we had. That's why I said, I have somebody to blame for it. Because we should have seen Gambia and not party. We should have seen Gambia and not individual. We should have seen the interests of Gambia above everything else.